So, I know they like to call it Scream 2022, but I say screw that, I'm just going to call it Scream 5. What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another film review. And this time we're moving on to a film that I did not see coming, literally up until I think right after I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. Scream 5. Yeah, screw that. Just Scream 5. So, didn't see this coming. Didn't see it coming at all. It just came. The advertising for this film wasn't very much. On top of that, the film got released literally like a week ago. And as I've learned over the years, films that tend to get released in January tend to be the throwaway films. They're not the films that they're looking to make a lot of money. I don't get that, but whatever. I guess because Christmas just passed, New Year's just passed, people don't have a lot of money to spend. They're now trying to pay off their debt that they accumulated from Christmas and New Year's. And possibly Thanksgiving, if that's the case. So, the film picks up a couple years after Scream 4. And we got a whole new cast, but the whole new cast is connected to characters from Scream. Pretty much Scream 1. Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Neve Campbell reappear in this film. However, just note, they really don't start coming into the film until I would say, take that back. David Arquette probably comes in about 30 minutes into the film. Courtney Cox comes in probably another 25 minutes after that, if almost that. And then Neve Campbell comes in, I would say an hour. Comes in about an hour after. I mean, she talks on the phone, but her appearance with the other characters, I would say an hour into the film. They are not the main cast of this film. They are more the secondary characters, because how many times are you going to use these characters as the forefront before it gets stale? And then with the new characters, you find out some startling information about all of them, not just one of them, all of them. There's a lot of connections, and I'll just say one. The one connection that was really cool, and I was that Randy's sister, who appeared in the third film, had 2 kids, and that their ethnicity, of course, I believe they looked black, but they could be something else in there. But I thought that was really cool. And what I really liked was that they had some similarities to their uncle. And I thought that was really cool. A lot of the other characters had similarities to the people they're related to, especially the main character, Samantha. The film, when I saw it, it gave me Scream 1 vibes all over again to an extent. but it had elements of 4. It did have some elements of 4 within there, but it was more so elements of 1 and 4, I would say. The gore, the horror wasn't too over the top, at least from what I remember. It was entertaining. My rating for it is a 9 out of 10 yes sirs. I like it just as much as 1 and 2. And really, as of right now, I would say better than 3 and 4. And you could say, well, it's fresh on your mind, but no, I just really enjoyed it. The killers were entertaining, and the reasoning. Now, this is the other thing I want to put in this review. So, because of things that have happened in the last, I would say, 5 years, there's been a lot of negativity in the film industry with the fans and the movie industry. Pretty much, movie industry comes up with some stuff that's not a good idea, and they call the fans toxic because the fans already say we're not watching this or we're going to negatively bash this film. And it goes back and forth where both sides are fighting with each other. The press and then the media goes along with whatever the Hollywood or studios say and try to put a label on the fans. And unfortunately, every single time they've done that, it's not worked out. Well, this film kind of incorporates that into there with mentioning of what happened with Ghostbusters 2016, a piece of shit. What happened with Star Wars with the sequel trilogy, and that was a complete disaster. What happened with the Terminator series. Man, I really got to give him credit for putting this stuff in here because these things actually did happen. The Terminator series pretty much is DOA or went into the shithole. They ran that into the ground. So there was Ghostbusters, Star Trek. Apparently, they've run that into the ground. I don't know how true that is because I don't really watch Star Trek like that. But I've heard a lot of people are not too happy with Picard and the stuff that's going on right now. So they've said that's dead and rotting. So they say the film kind of encompasses like how do we make movies, how do we use the formula from these other movies and make new movies out of them without alienating the fans, without make something new. And then I think what's his name? It's my favorite kid. Randy's niece. She says, I think a requel or something like that. It was kind of funny, but kind of stupid at the same time. I was like, God, I hope that doesn't start getting used. I really hope that term doesn't get used. It might, but hopefully not. And she says where you take the original cast and bring in the new cast, but don't shit on the original cast and help them push the story forward. And I'm like, yeah, and unfortunately, and I say this is unfortunate, the only film that freaking did that was Ghostbusters Afterlife. You took the original cast, original elements of the cast, and you mixed them with the new cast and pushed the story forward to where now you can continue making Ghostbusters film. But unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, that was always the plan from Dan Aykroyd. Not trying to get tangent and get sidetracked, but they mention that in the film what they're trying to do, and in a sense, that's what happens with this film. It's kind of like they're talking about it, but they're actually doing it in the film too. You're bringing in the old cast and getting them connected to the new cast and intertwining them to where you start liking the new cast just as much as the old cast, and you can keep making films with the newer cast and not have to keep using the original cast. I thought that was cool. So far, it's only been successful one time. Unfortunately, Star Wars, as I said, and as a lot of people have said, that was a complete fucking failure. That was the only other time. And then Terminator never tried that to begin with. It just tried to do something completely stupid. So you have that, and there's this whole thing of wokeness in the film. I didn't really get any of that. It was entertaining. The only thing that I got from what's been going on with Hollywood and the fan base of films franchises is towards the end with the Killers is that they say that they don't appreciate being considered toxic, and they're gonna make their own type of thing to where they're not considered toxic and stuff. And people are saying in the media right now with this film is that you're pretty much trying to say that fans who are very critical of these sequels and these reboots that come out, they're toxic and all this stuff, and this is what they might end up doing. For people that are really concerned about that the whole thing, like, well, that's how they're labeling us, look. If you really think about it, all the Scream films did except Part 1 was trying to... So, in a sense, if you really think about it, that was always in all the Scream films. Part 1, the killers were pretty much trying to utilize horror films as a way to make their own type of horror in real life sense. Second film, one of the main characters said that I'm gonna say when I go to court, I want to get caught, and when I go to court, I'm gonna blame it on the movies and say that it's the movies that made me do this stuff. This stuff actually happens in real life. That has been stated that video games and movies are the reason for school shootings, or they are the reason for why people do what they do. It's never the person or maybe how they were brought up. It's never the family environment, the neighborhood environment. It's always either it's the video game or it's the movie or it's the music. It's never how this person is being raised, what they're being exposed to. So 2 was like that. 3, pretty much trying to, within the film, because somebody gets killed on set, during the making of the film, within the film, they're trying to say that does the movie have something to do with the killings, which is not the case at all. But it's being projected that way. Same thing. Trying to say, does cinema have a way to make, to brainwash people to go out and commit atrocities? Because again, when I did my review for Scream 3, they said that because of Columbine, studios were trying to put on a more responsible way of how they make films, and of course Scream 3 got caught up in that, and they kind of toned down certain things of the film and try to take like a moral standpoint on how you proceed forward with your behavior. Is it the movie? Is it the music you listen to? Is the video games you play? Or is it's an issue with you and you need to take accountability for that? And of course there's a speech with Sidney and the killer towards the end of the film that says that. 4th film, same thing. Trying to get notoriety from killing people by recording it and putting it online. Well, during 2011, really before that, but 2011, that time period where Wes Craven came out with the film, what do we have? We have Instagram, we have YouTube. And moving forward to where we're at now, we got TikTok and I forget the other shit, but use it. But the point is, it's the same thing. Trying to do certain things, whether that's the crate challenge that people climb crates, the ice bucket challenge, or these other things to get people to notice them and to get likes and shit online, and get some type of fame from it. And it works for some, but the majority of people it doesn't work for. Well, the film was encompassing that too. And at what point where's the accountability? Is it you that should be accountable, or should it be the people that are watching your stuff be accountable? You post things like I'm making this video. I post it online, it's out there forever. I can take it down, but if somebody takes the video and keeps it, that's it. Am I responsible for that? Or is the people who downloaded my video responsible for keeping it and utilizing it for whatever reason they have? Who's responsible? Same thing said with Scream 5 and what people are kind of coming off of saying about this film. At the end of the day, all the films kind of give like a moral standpoint of where's the accountability. Is it what you watch that's the problem, or is it you? So that's the biggest point I'd say for anybody walking into this film. All the other films had it. It's just you now, because of what's been going on with the movie industry and the media, the tripod, the movie industry, the media, and the fan base, they're trying to almost spin it in the film that, well, if we don't do something about toxic fans, they could very well start killing people. And I'm like, no. There's always going to be somebody who's going to do some shit like that. Good example. Found this out. Apparently, one of the reasons why Jackass was canceled on MTV was because people were starting to do stuff that they said at the beginning of their show to not do. And the upper people from that controlled MTV were trying to tell MTV to have them tone down their stuff. The Jackass crew said, no, we ain't toning down shit. We did what you asked us to do. We're not responsible for what people go out there and do. So then they made the movies. There you go. Same thing with South Park and censorship. Same thing with most of these shows. At what point, where does the accountability need to be? Does it need to be with the person who makes the movie or makes the music or makes the comic books or makes the video game? Or does it need to be with the person who's buying the material and can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy? What age is it appropriate to watch horror films? I don't let my kids watch horror films. They're not ready for that. They're not mature enough for that yet. I don't let them just listen to any type of music. Some of my music, yes, does have cuss words, but I don't let them just listen. There's certain music that I listen to that I don't play in front of them. They're not mature enough yet for that. Same thing, video games. I let them play certain video games, but like Grand Theft Auto, that is a no. Not mature enough yet for that. You see where I'm going with this? At what point do you take accountability as a parent to what your kids are allowed to watch? But then also at another point, when you're an adult, where's the accountability with what you choose to do? So with Scream 5, a lot of that stuff is brought into the film at one point, and hopefully people take away from this and keep in mind that 1 through 4 had elements of it too. At what point are you accountable for the shit that you do? Where's the accountability? So please don't, if you haven't seen the film, please don't go in thinking that it's going to be this woke fest of this whole thing of trying to preach. It's not even like that. If anything, it's just for those who haven't been aware what's happened with these franchises, how they pretty much one by one have gone into the toilet. It kind of elaborates to a little degree about what happens. If you want to know more about it, go research it for yourself. And have an open mind, because there's the media side of how they want to spin it, there's the studio side of how they want to spin it, and then there's the fans. And then there's really a split with the fans where one side is okay with what happened, the other side's not okay, and they're fighting with each other too. So keep all that stuff in perspective when you're going to watch this film. I mean, and just understand that this is just, to me, this film was just saying what happens when somebody that's labeled a toxic fan takes it to the extreme where they decide we're going to kill people because we don't like what we're being called. This is the best way to describe it. Now, who the killers are, if it's one killer, if it's 3 or 4, that's for you to figure out if you decide to go see the film. But I will say, keep that in mind. If you're going to go see it. It's entertaining, it's fun. It does have its scary moments. Not so much for me because I'm used to these type of films. But I will say, I loved it. I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. I'll be picking it up right away. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.